Everybody. Welcome to the first annual Trauma Recovery Coaching Summit, sponsored by the International Association of Trauma Recovery Coaching. I'm Bobby Parrish, the Executive Director of the association.
And hi, I'm Sarah Parrish, the Deputy Director.
We are so glad that you're here to join us for these 5 days of interviews with our coaches. We'll be presenting information about trauma, recovery, and trauma recovery coaching. We do want to give a bit of a trigger warning though, and say that some of the material that we're presenting might be a little difficult to hear, so be sure to practice your best self-care skills.
Thanks, Bobby. So today we have the absolute honour in welcoming Dawn Hendrickson, and today Dawn is here to talk with us all about exploding your anger. Hi Dawn, how are you doing?
Hey Sarah, I'm doing okay. Hi Bobby.
Hi Dawn.
When I was asked to do this, I thought, okay, what subject can I talk about? And it was like, you know what? We get so angry sometimes about what happened to us and about our lives and how it affected us, and we don't know what to do with it.
Oh my gosh, absolutely, yeah. So expressing your anger, and getting your anger out, why is it so important, Dawn?
As survivors, as people, as human beings, when we get angry, it actually affects our inner self, our health. It affects our immune system. Our immune system goes down. It affects our blood pressure. Our blood pressure goes up. And from my generation and before, women, ladies did not show anger. And this is why they all had strokes and had high blood pressure and were unable to deal with things and develop these immunosuppressant, these self-immune disorders like lupus, fibromyalgia, because everything's kept inside and pent up. And so it is so important to learn how to express our anger, and more importantly, safe ways to explode our anger, because you get out there and you just go all willy-nilly and people could get hurt, you could get hurt, and that would be very counterproductive of what we really want to do, and that is heal.
Yes, I think as I work with my clients and myself, I know that I didn't feel like I could ever express my anger towards the people who abused me. But what I was really good at, Dawn, was taking my anger out on me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And because that's safe.
Yeah.
That's what's safe. If I'm angry at the person who abused me, if I'm angry at the person who hurt me, well, there's punishment in that. There's hurt in that. There's pain coming at you. And it's just not right. It's just not what we do. We tend to always, it's so much safer to be angry at me than it is to be angry at my abuser. And that actually goes throughout life. It's easier to be angry at me than to be angry at my boss. It's easier to be angry at me than to be angry at my spouse, because it's just not safe.
Yes.
And that continues to translate.
Yes.
So yeah, it is paramount that we just say to ourselves, okay, I should not be angry at me. I did not abuse myself. I did not do anything to deserve my anger about this. Okay, who does deserve my anger? And then we get scared. Because again, you direct that anger to the person who deserves it, the abuser. There's punishment, there's pain, there's hurt. So when we finally get to the place in our healing where we can say, you know what? I am stinking angry at my abuser. In my case, my abuser was my father, and it was terrifying to be angry with him. And when I finally got to that place, I had a lovely, lovely therapist who said, you know what, Dawn, you feel what you feel, and how you feel is just fine. Whatever you do, you be safe, and you tell me what you're going to do. And she was a lovely, lovely stuff. And yeah, I great, great lady. I always said, Lynn, God bless her. And when I would discuss her with my other therapist, she'd just say, you know, I think we're just going to change her name to Lynn. God bless her. So yeah. But it is just so important that we, first of all, get to the place in our healing where it's safe to be angry at the person who deserves our anger. And then it's also so important to be able to find safe ways to explode our anger, to get rid of that anger, not to keep that anger inside. It is important for our health. It is important for our healing. It is important for those around us that we are able to express these emotions healthy, and safe, and just be able to do this and it be healing and not hurtful.
Yes. You know, I find that as survivors go through their healing journey, we tend to, you know, things are a spectrum, like anger is a spectrum. Here's no anger, here's all the anger in the world.
Yes.
And so as I work with clients, maybe in the beginning, they say, no, I'm not angry. I don't feel angry towards my abuser. No, I don't. But then once we can get them to start to feel some anger, now it's rage.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And how do we help our clients be able to express their anger? I don't want to say in appropriate ways, because that's not what I mean, but how do we help them come back from rage and into a safe expression of anger?
Wow, great question. You know what? If you're feeling rage, that is probably appropriate sometimes. And we need to understand that, you know what, if we are to the place where we are so angry that we are actually raging, it is important to be able to find someone who is safe and who knows what they're doing and say, hey, you know, I am absolutely feeling out of control with this anger.
Yeah, that's it.
Because if you are to the place where you feel, oh, I am going to just, you know, hit this wall with my fist, I'm going to do this, you're going to hurt yourself. And, you know, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I hate this person so much, I'm going to go and I'm going to kill him. That again is self-harm.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to explode your anger safely. And if you are raging, if you are not safe, then you need to seek someone who, probably your therapist, who is going to say to you, hey, okay, here are some steps. Because you know what, they know you best. But if you are raging and you're not going to be safe, seek help and do it quickly, because that anger can get out of control so significantly.
Yes.
But whatever you do not take that out on yourself.
Absolutely,
because you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
You do not deserve that.
So Dawn, from the other extreme then, from rage to, I'm sure there's some people who don't feel anger because they're just so scared of that feeling. When I went through my journey, in recovery, I didn't want to touch anger, because it just, I was scared of it, sort of thing. I didn't want to touch it. I just blocked it away, sort of thing. Is there ways that we can sort of tap into that and sort of explore that anger sort of in more of a safe way as well?
There is, absolutely. Because you know what? Your anger is righteous. You are right to be angry. You are not bad for being angry. It is not a sin for you to feel angry with your abuser. It is not bad. You are not bad. It is a righteous anger. And you absolutely have the right to feel this anger. If you're going to say, oh my gosh, this anger is so much, I've got to get rid of it, and you should, there are ways to do that. And you know what? Make a plan. Number one, have a plan, because it is good and it is healthy to get rid of this anger. And there are safe ways. So my favorite way, and I found this way just accidentally. I was walking through my park. I lived in a mobile home park at the time, and somebody had a wedding, and they had this huge ice sculpture. And it was just sitting out in the parking lot melting. I thought, huh, look at this beautiful ice sculpture. And I picked up pieces of it, and I took it and I just slammed it right into the pavement. Oh my gosh, it shattered. It was fabulous. It was the most, I was like, oh, that felt so good. Let's do it again. And then what I found myself doing was getting like old butter dishes and freezing some water and taking an ice and just slamming it onto the pavement.
Wow,
Because that nice chunk of ice just shattering is fabulous. It's like, and might I add, ice, not glass. Rules. There are rules for exploding your anger. Number one, no weapons. Do not go out there with your shotgun and start shooting things. No weapons, no knives, no sharp objects, no explosives, nothing that can hurt you or anyone else around you. You need to find a safe place. That parking lot, that empty parking lot with that ice was beautiful. Depending on how you're going to explode your anger, find a safe place, a park, an empty park. Your car is a beautiful, beautiful place to let out anger. You can find a safe person. Now, I didn't tell my therapist until after I did this, but my father had passed away several years before he was gone. And I still didn't feel safe enough to explode my anger until like about 6 years later. And so we went to his graveside where his World War II memorial placard's there. And I said to my best friend who came with me, and she was very safe for me to do this with. And so you want to find yourself a safe person, a safe place, and this is not something I recommend. But I took some gasoline and poured it right. I said, you stay in the car because we can be arrested for this. And you don't want to do that. But we poured gasoline on there and lit that baby up. And, it did no harm to it because it's cement and metal. But yeah, that was amazing. When I told my therapist about it, she said, it is a good thing you did not tell me this before you did it, because I would have said no. And Lynn, God bless her, she liked it though. So you can find a safe place, no weapons or sharp objects or fire, a safe person, and then you need to be compassionate with yourself. You can say, you know what? I deserve to be able to finally express this anger. This person hurt me and I didn't. This person stole from me my life. They stole from me my childhood. They stole from me my choice to whom I give myself to first. They stole from me that first kiss. They stole from me everything that is intimate. This is a visceral abuse. I have the right to be angry, and it is okay. Be compassionate with yourself. And as in addition to like ice smashing, one of my favorite things is music yelling. And one of my favorite ones is John Bon Jovi. You know, whoa, living on a prayer, take my hand and we'll make it, I swear. And you turn that up in your car and you sing that at the top of your lungs. Girlfriend, I am telling you, it is releasing that anger. You get that screaming, and I am telling you what, it is beautiful. And to me, music is just part of my life. I got, you know, my tattoo. I don't know if you can see that, my Treble Clef tattoo. Music is very much part of my life. When I work in the hospital, I sing to my patients, and it is very healing for me to take that part that is so much a part of my life and use it to get this anger out.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, music therapy is gorgeous. Go ahead, Bobby. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, at one of the psychiatric wards that I stayed in, one of the therapists brought into one of my sessions a piece of 2x4, about like that, and a hammer.
Oh, beautiful, but careful with the hammer.
Right, yes.
But you were with someone safe who would keep you safe.
Exactly. I was with someone safe, and it was, you know, your other hand had to stay back here, and just, you know, let me pound on that piece of wood.
That's beautiful.
And it was enough. I'm not quite sure how to say this, but it was violent enough to let me express and let go of some of that angry, but not so violent that it wasn't safe.
Very good.
You know, I can't tell you how many therapists have told me, you know, go home and beat your pillow. Yeah, that just didn't do it for me, because I didn't feel, you know, my father didn't do the equivalent of what my father did to me was not beating a pillow. The equivalent of what my father did to me was a hammer on wood.
I stinking love that. I love that, because you are absolutely correct in stating, you know what, here's where my anger is. It's not here with the pillow. It's here with the hammer, you know, and I love that you got there and that you were with someone safe, and that was your thing, man, and it helped. You got to find your thing. Yes. And I never thought of it that way, but you got to find your thing that actually helps you, like the slamming of the ice or the pounding of the hammer. My friend likes to scream into her, not pound the pillow. She screams into the pillow. And
I've heard of that one as well. Yeah, so, I've been told to do that, scream into a pillow and things. Yes.
Because if you're being told you remain silent at all times, that screaming is release. And yeah, that was good for her. I've never done that. I chose to do the music thing and yell with the music, which was incredible for me. What my friend and I did one time was we sat in a room and we sat there, and she was just needing to release this. She was so angry and she was crying, and her crying became screaming, and we sat there and we literally just let out a beautiful scream. And again, safe place with a safe friend, and screaming that out is just an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Because you can be angry, and if that is what works for you, screaming that out, do it. Another thing I love to do, because I love baseball, is take a bat and throw the ball, hit the ball, or hit the tree. This is kind of like the hammer and the wood. You just take that bat and you hit a tree, or you hit the ball, like hit a rock. You need to be in a safe place again, and I cannot express that enough. Keep yourself safe, and it's safe to express your anger.
Yeah.
My one friend is an artist. She is a gorgeous artist, and she sent me a picture. She said, "This is my anger," and I looked at her drawing, and literally it was dark, it was red, it was scribbled, it was ferociously angry. And that worked for her.
Yes. Yes. I've assigned clients the, the task of drawing anger. No words, no letters. I just want an abstract drawing of what does your anger look like.
How does that, I bet that was enlightening because that was so, when I saw that, I said to her, how did that feel to draw that? She said, it was righteous. It was amazing. She said, first of all, I picked up this crayon and this thing, and I wrote, did this, and all of a sudden it came over me, and I did all this other stuff with it. I was like, that's pretty darn gravy. Pretty darn gravy.
And it feels safe too, because it's my papers. What is it that when we were talking with Jade, we did an interview with Jade Eby. She says the paper doesn't judge.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, groovy. Yeah, she's
So,
yeah.
So I can draw out my anger on the paper, and paper's like, that's just fine. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, I've always done as well, I've written my anger out, sort of thing. If I want to tap into things, I've written my anger out, and it goes into, open up another box with my anger, and I've written like angry letters to people, I'm not going to ever give this angry letter to them, but I've written this angry letter out, and that in the end, I burn them. And again, that burning them is that release sort of thing of anger, and it's kind of, oh, it's gone now sort of thing, so.
And you know what I did one time, and I forgot that I did this until this exact moment, was I had a pyro party. And I invited my survivor friends over, and I had a lot of chocolate. And I had a lot of we had Gatorade and chocolate, and I made a fire. And I invited my survivor friends over, and they took pieces of wood that represented something, or my one friend made a paper chain, and she said, the red is anger, this is, and this is how I feel about this, and this color means this, and this color means this. She said, and next thing I knew, I was out of red paper because I was so angry, and she threw that thing into the fire, and it burned. I actually burned some of my father's belongings. His Bible being one of them. I said, because he quoted the scripture to me out of context, and and I do not think that you should burn books, but in this case it was good and it was righteous, and my anger was justified. And I burned his little who's that, Louis L'Amour book, and things like that, and wow, that was healing. And we ate a lot of chocolate, but again, with friends, and it was safe.
Yeah. So I can get to those moments where, or I can help my clients get to those moments where, I've expressed my anger, but then the old fear and the old messages come in, and now we feel ashamed because we've expressed anger, or we feel like we've done something wrong. There's just, I don't know, I guess for lack of a better word, it's an anger hangover.
You know what? That is absolutely correct, because now we have done the wrong thing. We have done what we have been told all of our lives not to do. You do not do that. It is unacceptable behavior. And those words ring in their head, and we start hearing those old tapes that were bad, that we're not a good Christian, that we're not being ladylike, that we're not behaving appropriately, and that we don't have the right to behave that way because our abuser did not snap his fingers and tell us that it was okay to behave that way. And you know what? That can all go right down the toilet. And we need to do some amazing self-care post-anger, because you know what? What we did was not bad. Our feeling of anger is not bad. So again, this all needs to be planned out, because you need to do self-care post-anger expression. And you start hearing those bad tapes, and all that negative self-talk in your head. And you need to be able to have somebody there, or be able to care for yourself and do post-explosion self-care. And you know what? We start blaming ourselves. We start saying, oh my gosh, I did this horrible thing. And we need to be able to plan it out, have somebody there say, that was amazing, that was righteous, you are good, that was, you know, hey, pat yourself on the back on that one, that was groovy, hey, that was righteous, that was out of sight.
Absolutely, and you deserve the anger as well, sort of thing. You know, you deserve to feel that. Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely, and that's why it's good to have somebody with you for that post-care. Say, hey, way to go, way to go. You deserve to be able to express that anger, and it was fabulous, and you are fabulous. And when you start hearing those negative talks, hey, get on the phone, call your friend and say, hey, I'm feeling bad. Hey, because that will happen. That will happen the first few times that you do this. That will happen the first 5 or 6 times you do. It probably will happen most every time, because if your abuse happened more than once and you heard these words over and over and over again, you will not do this. You will obey. And if you've heard that many times and you need to tell yourself, you need that post-explosion self-care, because what you did was healing, and what you did was righteous, and what you did was beautiful, and who you are is beautiful. And to explode that anger is healthy. I mean, literally healthy. Not only mentally healthy, but physically healthy. And to be able to get to the place where you can explode that anger, girlfriend, that is righteous, and that is amazing. And your healing is amazing. And how you got there, that is courage personified. To express that anger. There is a movie, The Iron Mask. And there's a scene in The Iron Mask where all these young musketeers are looking at the 4 musketeers in that movie. And the 4 musketeers are confronting all of these other guys. And they're all pointing guns at them. And they run forward. They go forward. And the captain of the young musketeers looks at them and says, "What valor." And I want to say to survivors out there who are looking at their anger and facing their anger and expressing their anger, what valor. You are a warrior to get to this point where you feel safe enough to do this. And wow, I am humbled and amazed at your courage. And you ain't done nothing wrong. You ain't done nothing wrong by expressing that anger, and it is righteous and beautiful.
Dawn, I want you to walk me through every angry episode I have from now until the rest of my life.
Absolutely, Bobby. You just go ahead and give me a call.
I
can be your safe person.
But, you know, I love this. And if our viewers are watching and they're looking at what you're talking about, they're like, oh, that's amazing, I need to do that. Where do they find you, a trauma recovery coach?
They can find me on my website, and it's very difficult to find. It's my name, DawnHendrickson.com. I'm also on Facebook at Dawn Hendrickson, and you'll see it says Dawn Hendrickson, Trauma Recovery Life Coach. But yeah, DawnHendrickson.com is the easiest place to find me.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I have really enjoyed this interview with you, and I feel motivated to go out and tackle some of my anger. And thank you, Dawn, for
Thank
being
you.
here today.
I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be part of this and to be part of your group and the Certified Trauma Recovery Life Coaches. I am very humbled and just ecstatic to take part in this, and just thank you so much. I'm so honored.
Thank you, Dawn. Thank you. So I just want to say thank you to all the viewers who have been watching today. Thank you, Dawn, for your amazing explanation on anger and everything like that. We've still got many videos up for you guys to watch. So I hope you all come and see us again soon on another video. But until then, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.